I know we attorneys are not cheap. I know that our court system here in Central Florida will appoint an attorney if you can't afford one. I am always shocked when I'm sitting in court and somebody is trying to do it themselves. I do not recommend that you try this at home, and I'm going to give you 4 complex legal defenses that, in my humble opinion, you better get yourself an experienced attorney on, okay? Number 1, this is to me like a no-brainer, but the insanity defense. The insanity defense in Florida is a little more out there than you might think. First of all, you need expert testimony. You have got to have an expert that is qualified to say that you are not competent to proceed, and then you're going to try to do that motion on your own. Oh my gosh, please don't. If you are going to try to plead insanity at the time of the offense or what have you, you need somebody on your side that knows exactly how to plead that defense. That is not an easy go of things. Number 2, the entrapment defense. I know everybody thinks that they were entrapped. They made me do it. I was entrapped. It's pretty common. I know you see social media memes on it all the time, but folks, entrapment in Florida, we have objective entrapment, we have subjective entrapment. I don't care which type of entrapment you're claiming as a defense. This is a tough defense to win. And if you're gonna win this defense, again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you really need somebody on your side that understands the entrapment defense. And I would even ask potential lawyers, have you ever pled an entrapment defense? I sure have many times, especially on like sex cases where there's somebody undercover that's faking an age. Oh my gosh, that is riddled with entrapment defenses. Get somebody experienced on that defense. Number 3 is immunity defenses. Self-defense immunity. If you are going to claim that the stand your ground immunity applies to you and that you are immune from prosecution because of self-defense issues, stand your ground issues here in Florida, that is all fine and dandy. I have pled stand your ground motions to dismiss on those grounds many, many times, gone to hearing, been successful, had stuff dismissed, but this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for somebody that does not know what they are doing, because it is a tricky defense, folks. So make sure that you get somebody on your side that's done it before. Just ask them, have you done stand your ground defenses before? Have you gone to hearing? Has the judge thrown it out, etc., etc.? Very important, not something you want to do on your own. And finally, I think this is pretty obvious, but again, I've got to give you my list. Constitutional violations, folks. If your constitutional rights were violated, and I know everybody's like, my rights were violated every time the cops do something wrong, but in reality, pleading a constitutional right violation such as an illegal search and seizure, right? When the government goes too far and goes beyond what the Constitution allows the government to do, and they violate your constitutional rights, that is a tricky motion. That's a motion to suppress. It can be a motion to dismiss. It can be all sorts of things. And just because your rights were violated does not mean that you win that case. I hope it means that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. So my best recommendation, and I know I sound like a broken record by now, is you've got to get an attorney involved that has challenged these sorts of violations. Just ask them, have you filed some motions to suppress in front of this judge? Because every judge handles motions to suppress different. I've been in front of some judges that I will tell you up front, I don't think this judge has granted a motion to suppress in the last 5 or 10 years, right? It just happens. You need to know the judges. Sometimes you need to know the prosecutors, but mostly you need to know how this judge operates, because not all judges are fair. A lot of judges will side with law enforcement. They don't want to throw, that cop is sitting there in the room and they don't want to utter the words, you did something wrong, I'm throwing this case out. That makes them uncomfortable. I think you shouldn't be a judge if you're not willing to say that, because you're supposed to be defending the Constitution. Anyway, I could do a whole rant on that, but for our purposes, don't try that sort of thing by yourself. Don't start filing stuff by yourself. Get an attorney that understands those sorts of things and how to manipulate the system and how to file the right things in that particular courtroom in order to get you what you need and what you want and what you deserve. You guys know I've been doing this, defending criminal cases, since 1993. That is over 31 years as of the recording of this. So if you've been arrested in Central Florida, I hope that you'll give our office a call. I think we can help you out. If you're not in any trouble, then I'm happy for you. Then I'm going to ask you to just click on the subscribe or like or do whatever button is new nowadays that would help us out. I thank you for your time. Thanks for watching.